Ben and I are going to talk a little baseball. You take out of it what you want, but we're going to talk about what we've seen and what we've learned over a couple of years of Major League Baseball. Okay, Ben, I'm talking about some mechanics of pitching. I know I was a catcher and everything, but I had to watch a pitcher's mechanics during the course of the game in order to help him during the course of the game. And one thing I want to know from you is if my notions of what's going on is correct, and you tell me. I see some of our guys that'll come in here. I know, Gausman, Bundy, all of them, Gausman throws a little bit more across his body, and he likes to plant here. That's okay.
Sure.
Arrieta was like that, too, until he figured it out. But as they go to that plant foot, and it plants here, the shoulders and the position is back at this angle. This is where you're starting to throw all of your pitches from.
That's right.
Which is why it leaves the ball up in the strike zone, because you can't get there. You have to spin off to open up an arm slot for you to hit home plate, especially where you're trying.
Right.
Now, I've heard Palmer, and I've heard all the good pitchers, and I'm going to find out from you, when they come plant like this, if they're over the front side already, and the arm angle is here, now you can get to the outside corner, and you're not going to leave that ball. Because if you're like this, you're going to try to fall off, and it's going to float middle in on the right-handers, and that's what's getting killed.
Yeah.
Now, you explain it to me from your standpoint, your mechanics. Where does your arm and the ball have to be at the point of when that front foot hits the ground?
There are two big mechanical issues, I think, for pitchers where we all struggle, no matter who we are or how good we are. One is, do we get in a straight line going down home plate? In other words, am I keeping my front side, what I call my chin, my shoulder, and my front elbow in target line long enough to where I'm staying, and then all of a sudden the ball comes through. If I ever get caught going more east to west, that's when I get in trouble. What you're talking about is the other very common thing is, are we getting to balance point? Is everything syncing up on the mound like it needs to sync up? So what we're talking about here is when I come up and I get to balance point, when my front leg hits the ground, I want to be in what we call the power or throwing position, right? So when I come up to balance point and I touch down, I want to have that ball somewhere up in this area. Now, you talk about that's right. You see where my shoulders are? I'm square toward home plate. I'm not up. I'm right here.
You're not tilted.
That's right.
What happens when you tilt back there?
When your weight gets out in front, it's kind of like a hitter, right? When you get out in front of a baseball, you lose a lot of your power. As a pitcher, if I get my weight out in front, now if I ever catch my stride leg landing first and the ball is still down here somewhere, there is no way that I can get a fastball from here, there, and back down in the strike zone. What we end up doing, we leave that ball middle of the plate, up, out over the plate, and those are the ones that always gets hammered. So it's all about syncing up to when I hit balance point, I touch down, boom, there's the ball here. Now I can drive everything straight downhill where I want the baseball to be.
You can get to the outside corner.
Absolutely, and it's true. It's not running back over the plate. It's a true fastball that stays down at the knees where we want to be, down in here, and it's true to the outside part of the plate.
How much more perfect do you have to be when you throw across your body, sort of like a Jake Arrieta or Kevin Gausman or guys like that?
I threw slightly across my body, too. Not by design, it's just how it all worked out for me. Only by about 4 inches. But what that does sometimes is when I step slightly across my body, it hinders me sometimes from getting to the outside part of the plate because I've stepped across my body. Now, if I sync everything up the right way, I can still reach and make sure I get that ball out there to where it wants to be. So it helps me from a deception standpoint, because if I'm a little across my body, maybe the right-handers don't see it quite as good, but it can hurt me if I'm not exactly synced up to where I want to be, where everything's touching down at the same time, and I'm able to reach out towards home plate and drive that ball out there.